What's up guys, it's Cody from Pacers Gaming. Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this one, we're going to talk about your Pro Stick orientation settings and the difference between absolute and camera relative. Let's jump right into it. Now to check your settings, you just have to be in your My Court or anywhere in My Career, press Start, over to your Options/Quick tab at the top and down to controller settings. So we've already talked about shot timing and your shot meter in another video. Again, in this one, we're going to focus on Pro Stick orientation. And you have two options. You have absolute and camera relative, and the same thing is true for your off-ball offensive mode, which is absolute or camera relative. First recommendation is if you use absolute for one of these settings, I highly recommend you use it for the other. So either go absolute, absolute, or camera relative, camera relative. Now, to start off this video, we're going to focus on absolute. To show you how absolute works, I'm going to show you a normal dribble combo you see quite often in NBA 2K20. It's just going to be a hezzy into our behind the back. Now, as you can see in the bottom left with the controller, with absolute, I just have to flick left when I'm moving to the left to hezzy, and then down to behind the back. And when I go to the right, it's right on the right stick for the hezzy, flick down again for the behind the back. If I'm driving to the hoop, if I'm on the left side and want to use a left-handed layup, I flick left on the right stick. If I'm on the right and I want to shoot a right-handed layup, I flick right on the right stick. Now, this is where it gets different. If we go down into the corners, your settings in absolute are exactly the same when you're doing a dribble move. So I flick left on the right stick in the left corner and down to do my left hezzy behind the back, right stick right and down to do my right hand hezzy behind the back. Same thing in the right corner. So your settings do not change on absolute no matter where you are on the court. At the top, it's the same. In the corners, it's the same. Your layups are exactly the same. So absolute, in my personal opinion, is the best option because your settings do not change no matter where you are on the court. Your right stick works exactly the same. It's effective. You can get comfortable with your dribble moves. You can get comfortable with your layup animations. So there's no difference. So personal opinion, and I know the vast majority of our guys, if not all of them, play with absolute Pro Stick settings. Now, if we back out and go into controller settings again, I'm going to switch both of these Pro Stick and off-ball offensive mode into camera relative. As you can see, if we are at the top and our player is facing the basket, the right stick works the same way as it does with absolute. So if I do my hezzy to the left, I flick left on my right stick and down. When I'm going with the ball hand in my right hand, I flick the stick to the right and then down again. It's exactly the same. Your layups, if you're coming down the court, it's the same again as absolute. Right stick to the left is a left-handed layup. Right stick to the right is a right-handed layup. If you're holding right trigger, you're going to dunk with those hands. But here's where it gets different. I want you to focus on the controller in the bottom left part of the screen here. If your player is working on the wing or out of the corner or in the post, here we're going to show it in the corner. Your stick changes to the direction of where your player is facing. So if I'm in the left corner and I want to do the same hezzy and behind the back, if the ball is in my left hand, I have to flick up now because it's relevant to my player, and then left on the right stick. So that's going to do my left hand hezzy behind the back. If I'm coming out on my right hand, I have to flick down and then to the left out of the left corner to do the right hand hezzy and then behind the back. Now if I go over to the right corner, if the ball is in my right hand, I have to flick up on the right stick and right to do my hezzy right hand behind the back. And if I'm coming up to the wing and I'm in the right corner, I have to flick down on the right stick and right to do the behind the back. So it's the direction in which your player is facing. I know there are some players in the league who love camera relative. They've been playing with it forever, so that makes sense. But if you're a new player and you're just starting out, I highly recommend throw it on absolute. Don't even worry about camera relative. Your right stick's going to perform the same way no matter the situation, no matter where you are on the court. Again, if you're changing one to absolute or one to camera relative with your Pro Stick, Change your off ball as well, because you're going to get used to doing your off ball moves with your right stick, and I think it would just get confusing if you're trying to do one camera relative, one absolute. So I know this is a heavily discussed topic. A lot of people don't really understand the difference and how it works. Hopefully this very simple video and illustration with one move specifically will help you guys out in determining which option is best for you. So I think that's going to do it. If you guys have any questions, hopefully it was explained well enough to let you know the difference between absolute and camera relative in 2K20. Leave any questions in the comments below, though. We hope you have a great day from Cody and Pacers Gaming. As always, we'll see you in the next one.
Flax, you here? He was just here a minute ago.
Yeah, bro.
Green!
Oh my God.
Come on! I cooked this.